Y'all see the Zendaya shirt? Hey, yo, hold on. Quick, hold on. Courtesy of the morning paper. Shout out to my boy Josh, man. So if y'all want to get a good graphic shirt like this, make sure you guys go follow him on Instagram and see us at the Great New York State Flea, where he has a whole list of these shirts. A bond as old as time. And many times, this bond could almost never be broken. But that's many times. And the one factor that ruins brotherhood the most, or at least from what I've seen, is women. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. This is not one of them podcasts, not one of them shows, okay? I mean that the presence of them sparks some sort of weird chemical reaction where the male brain starts to dysfunction, and it results in breaking of many of the unwritten rules amongst brotherhood. We do things like plot against our own local government, hunt demons, things that are completely true. We definitely do these things, but we keep it quiet. But in all seriousness, and many times, what hurts a brotherhood the most is their actions when in the presence of women. And women are absolutely amazing people. They're human just like us. And more on that in another video. But I say that because it somewhat relates to the idea of what I'm talking about today. And in my experiences now being about 25 years old, I have a chance to look back and reflect on how my relationships with the brothers have been. And there's been times my homies have definitely threw me to the side or have slighted me or have more of like a disadvantage to me in the presence of women. So you already know the drill. And let's get into the first story. I think I was about 19 years old when this first story happened. And since I was home from college, I really had nothing to do. I had no job, I had no car. But my one homie in this story, we'll call Donnie. I know that, yeah, y'all saw that bug? You fucking wasp, bro. Nosy is it? Oh my goodness. But my one homie Donnie calls me up and he's asking, yo, do you guys want to go to the park today? Now, normally we go to this park. It's known as Cobb's Hill. It's a reservoir in the city of Rochester. And shoot, we love chilling out there. It's beautiful. Nice water, you get to see the sun, people are hooping, people sometimes cook out, there's food down over on Park Ave, ice cream, it's a beautiful time. He wanted to invite me to go out and he was gonna pick me up and our homie will call in this story T. I don't really know. Yeah, T. His name's T. I don't really care about hiding his identity. You know who you are. So since Donnie's the only one with the car, he came and scooped all of us up. He lived in about a 5-mile radius, so he lived in between me and T. So when he picked us up, it's business as usual, laughing, having fun, catching up with each other as always. Now, I don't know the exact measurements of the reservoir, but it's a pretty sizable reservoir. But then eventually we started to notice Donnie was acting a little weird. He was more so like hanging off from the back of the group. He wasn't really intrigued with our conversations anymore, and he just seemed a little anxious. Donnie starts murmuring a few words to us from behind. Hey, yo, we gotta go. We gotta get out of here, guys. We gotta go. What did you say? Huh? He's not responding, like he's not communicating well. He's not responding well. He's not telling us why. Like we figured we were gonna have most of the day to ourselves to go and enjoy the park, especially since I had a lot of time on my hands and I had to go to a family gathering. So I figured since it was like several hours away, I might as well just hang out with the boys, right? But eventually it gets to the point where Donnie's not even listening to us anymore. He's just completely walking off. We think we know what the reason is, but he's not saying anything. Relax right here. It's a dead fly. Off my shit, boy. So as we're making fun of Donnie, eventually he gets a call on his phone. And while we can't hear the conversation, we're piecing what he's saying together. And a lot of it is just him going like,
yes, I know. Okay, I'm almost there. No, tell them no. Tell them I'm down the street. I'm down the street. I'm almost there, okay? Okay? Bye.
And so me and T see this and we just started dying laughing and we're just making more and more jokes at our boy. And he just looks at us and he's like, oh, by the way, y'all can just stay here if y'all want. So we ended up jogging behind him because like, bro, like I said, I have somewhere else to be right now and I ain't trying to get left and there's no one else coming to pick me up. So that's my only ride. We knew at this point it's definitely his girlfriend because he put us in the back seat. We weren't allowed to sit in the front. Like we're kids, man. We're 5 minutes into this drive. I look at his GPS and we've got 20 minutes to get to where she's got to go. It's like where she's working at, right? And on the phone, if you remember, he said he's down the street. We end up going 10 minutes into this ride and he gets another call.
I said I'm down the street. I'm right there. No. No.
I know she hung up the phone on him because his immediate response after is he just started slamming his phone. He just started slamming his phone into the dashboard and chucked it to the side. And me and T are just looking at each other like, by the time we arrive at her job, and she just hopped in, had her earphones in, and was just looking out the window. But see, Donnie can't handle shit, almost fell. But see, Donnie can't handle silence. So he just starts picking at her, just picking at her ear, just picking at her. And then he knocks her earbud out of her ear and she just looks and she starts yelling at him.
You said you were down the street and I've been sitting out here for 30 minutes.
And Donnie had the nerve to say,
I was out at the park with them.
And she turns and she looks in the back seat and notices that we're there because she was already so pissed off. She didn't even know we were in the back. Plus he also had tinted windows. So like she couldn't see us on the way to the car. So she looks at us with a face of just embarrassment and frustration. And she just went and turned to him and said,
why didn't you just say that?
And me and T looked at each other like, come on, bro. So about the time we finally pull up, they're not done arguing. They're still yelling at each other. Donnie has the nerve to look back. Can you guys get out the car? You got some nerve. But I wasn't about to stand in the middle of this driveway while they sit here and talk out whatever they have going on. So I decided to take myself up the street. So eventually we get back to Donnie's car and it's empty. There's no him, there's no girlfriend, and we're just sitting here like, bro, don't tell me they doing what I think they're doing while we're sitting out here fighting off propositions from drug lords. Donnie, please, I have to be somewhere right now. Donnie's girlfriend's dad comes outside. He sees us and he's like, hey, yeah, why don't y'all come in the backyard, man? I got some food for y'all. You can come out here and chill. I don't know why they left you out here. And we appreciated his hospitality. And eventually they come downstairs and they still had pretty pissed off faces at each other. And we just all got in the car and left. Because it was really quiet in the car, I decided to lighten up the mood. But then Donnie's energy shifted, turns to me in the back seat, and I just hear him say, hush. And I'm like, huh? What'd you just say? And then he looks over at T and he just turns to me and T goes, I think he thinks it's our fault.
Oh my God, bro. Oh,
what did I do? I'm like I'm thinking this is a joke, right? Like this can't be our fault. Like, yeah, we were messing around with him and try to be difficult, but at the same time, we're not the ones who held you up from doing what you had to do, which we ended up finding out he was supposed to pick her up prior to us even hanging out. We never knew that, and he never told any of us that. He just wanted us to just leave. So I'm sitting here stunned. I said, say that again, bro, because I don't think I heard you right the first time. And T says it again. He thinks it's your fault and a bit of mine too. Okay. And I was just quiet. I stayed right there in the back seat. Did I ever go to my family gathering? No, I got dropped straight off home. And I got dropped off first. That's what also made me feel some type of way. So when I ended up talking about T about it, we think it's my fault, or he's thinking that it's my fault that he didn't prioritize his time properly. He didn't organize his time properly to go pick up his own girlfriend. And instead of communicating that where he was, he decided to just leave it all a mystery and then put the blame on me. Crazy. And I reflect on that moment because this was like the first time that this was how I was treated around my own friends for whatever reason around women. There's people who don't know me, who don't do this shit. That's honestly a crazy experience because I felt singled out for somebody else's poor communication skills and lack of accountability. And at the time, of course, we were upset, but we just pushed it under the bridge because talking to Donnie is not always the best thing you can do. At least at the time, we're 19 and stuff, but you still got to take accountability for your own actions. But yeah. Let's go with story number 2. Now, the second story takes place in, I believe, 2022. A lot of stuff happened in the year 2022. So for this second story, I just remember so much. This is one of the moments where this one really bothered me. A lot of them really bothered me, but this one hit me differently. So to keep things short, because I want to save the full story for what happened prior to this for another video, I'm dating this girl and I'm telling my homie about her. We're gonna call my homie Deuce. He know who he is. Now I don't even gotta explain nothing else. Just for the simple fact your name is Deuce in this story, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, my homie Deuce, right? Me and him always shared a lot of our dating stories and how favorable and unfavorable our lives were. We felt like we were the Hardy Boys. Right? Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy. The reason why we called ourselves the Hardy Boys was for the fact that this shit hard. Like if I had a good run that day, he had a bad run. If he had a bad run, or if I had a bad run, he had a good run. It was up and down. And sometimes if I did good one day, he would do good the same day. It was like, it was linked, and it always happened within the same week or the same day of each other. It was crazy. And so for him, he started dating a girl too, man. And we would just share stories about our dating experience. Like the future was looking bright for us until it wasn't. You know, I was really hurt. I really was. I remember my other homie, he would see me at work. I was just down on my luck. He just saw this kind of like the worst side of me. A lot of it was just sitting down and just having my head down, barely wanting to get up to work. I had to get up like 5 in the morning, go be around people I don't want to be around in a position I really didn't like. And there are times where you need to be able to speak to somebody in order to get out how you feel. I have a different friend of mine to talk to about different subjects. When it's something that feels like it's a spiritual connection, I talk to my homie T, right? If there's something that's gamer-like, if it's something nerdy, that's very competitive, talk to my homie Rod about it. And when it's something that the Hardy Boys have to handle, I talk to the brother Deuce. So I call Deuce while I'm at work. Normal conversation as always, bro. How you doing, bro? I'm doing good, or I'm keeping my head up and everything. And you know, it's just getting hard, man. Like, you know, there's just days I just don't really feel like the best. I really don't feel good about myself because honestly, bro, like I know it's gonna sound bad, but like I miss the girl. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm back to dealing with the rest of these hoes, bro. The rest of these heifers, man. Nobody wants to deal with them. So at the time, I'm sitting here like, bro, I think I just found the best person for me, and now they're gone. Now that's not there anymore. I still really wasn't sure as to what caused this to happen. And I'm like, well, it can't be me. There was nothing that was said to me or did something, or at least I don't think I did. And I'm really trying to express myself and try to find comfort in talking to my friend. And normally he always has something very positive to say to me. But this time it's a little different. He's not very responsive. He's not really talking. He's kind of just hearing me, but he's not listening. And so I kind of peeped his reaction to a lot of what I was saying. So I told him, I called him out. I don't think you're really listening to me right now. I don't really think you care. And he just busts out laughing at me. I'm not gonna lie, Brody. You right, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay. At least I told you though. Like, at least I told you, bro. It's not that you don't care right now, like as if I'm bothering you or constantly having to tell you day in, day out. It's because you have a girlfriend now. Yeah, that girl that he was dating at the same time I was dating mine, he was a girlfriend. That was his girlfriend. You don't care anymore. Or you are just hearing me, but you're not listening because you have a whole girlfriend. That's why. And he got quiet. Oh wow, would you look at that? Yeah, bro, I'm sorry, bro. Like, but you know, you gonna be all right, bro. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of fish out there. This is like my bro, like my brother. Like this is supposed to be somebody that's like I come to. We have an issue. Let's talk about it. It didn't feel like he was ditching me, but it felt like he didn't care anymore. I mean, exactly what it was. He didn't care anymore because he can't relate, or he's not trying to relate. He's out of the woods now, and I'm still in it. And it made me feel even worse about my situation. I had to go the rest of the day at work, just down on myself. Went home and just stopped talking to him about my dating after that. Now we still do here and there, but at the time I just completely left that alone. And if anytime we would talk, it would just be about something to keep my mind on. I wouldn't even bring it up. I wouldn't even bother him about it. That really kept me from wanting to open up more to your own people. I just felt so disheartened by it, man. It just felt like it just got worse. But, you know, things happen for a reason. But it's okay though. We still cool. When I see your ass, I got the gloves. Now I got another story to tell y'all. And this has nothing to do with any of my friends. This one has to do with some of my family. For those who know me, they know that I got a pretty good family. That's absolutely a blessing to have. And so given that, we never really had too many issues, at least in my line of the family tree. Of all of our 2000s kids, we haven't really had much issues. I mean, sure, we see each other when we see each other, it's all love, and most of our conversations are usually about how we're gonna better the family, things that we're interested in, etc., etc. But around this time, as I've gotten older, I've noticed a small trend, not with all of my cousins, because people know I have a lot of cousins, okay? My grandmother had like, 12, 13 kids? I got a lot of cousins. It's not all of them. It's only a select few, and was actually kind of the inspiration for this video. So my cousin, we'll call, what do I call it? I have so many damn cousins. If I use one name, they're gonna think it's that cousin. Shoot, it was a good cousin. It was a good name. What doesn't sound too close? We'll call him Frank. Yeah, we're gonna call him Frank. We're gonna call him Frank. Why? Because I thought of the Punisher. I've noticed that me and Frank typically have a different taste in the type of women that we like and attract. A vastly different taste. Maybe not in terms of looks, but definitely in terms of behavior. I honestly question how the hell he ends up in some of his situations. But it's not about his situation, it's about my situation, or our situation. And he starts telling me about his job. He ran into his coworker earlier, and she has a way of dressing outside of work that's not the same at work. At work, of course, very professional, very well put together. Outside of work, the complete opposite. He's not really great at describing his coworker. So to avoid objectifying women, we're just gonna say he basically called her the spitting image of Taylor Rooks. That's definitely not what the hell he said, but what woman doesn't want to be like Taylor Rooks? I'm just saying. The description he gave me, or the lack of description, damn.
I fucked that. Bro, damn.
The attributes he chose to use in this character profiling, I was able to meet that to reality from the distance. Is that Taylor? Is that Taylor Rooks? Is that her? So I told him, when you go back to work, put me on. Now, I know what y'all thinking. Bryton, why don't you just go up there and talk to her? And I hear you. I am no stranger to shoot my shot. I'm never afraid.
No. Oh my goodness, Valentine!
Okay, if I see a shot, I'm gonna take it. But see, I like to take effective shots. It's one thing to shoot 40, it's another thing to make 40. And you're not making a heavily contested shot because her team is all right there. Why do all that? We're not gonna have my role player go in and sub in for me and then give me the assist. You know what I'm saying? Set the screenplay, and then I can go ahead and take my shot from there. Frank tells me, don't worry, I got you, bro. So weeks go by, and I completely forgot all about this girl. But Frank calls me, and he's just telling me all about work. He's telling me about how... I asked Frank, I said, yo, did you ever put me on with Taylor? Like, I still don't know her name, so I'm just saying Taylor Rooks. Just make it easier for y'all. You know what I'm saying? And he was just like, huh? If you can you can hear.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Yeah, Brody.
What did you just say?
Yeah, bro. That's on you, bro.
Frank, I need you to speak English. What are you talking about?
I ain't gonna lie, bro. You just gonna catch her in the wild, bro.
Man, what the fuck is you talking about? What the fuck was that?
I'm sorry.
And I'm so confused right now.
If she follow you and she look at your followers or your following, which she will look at your following, bro. She just gonna see who you follow, and yeah, bro, you just gonna do that on your own, Brody.
And this isn't the first time Frank has done something like this. The other times that this happened, I gave it grace. Because I honestly don't fucking remember. Because I don't know none of this girl's information. And I don't know where she's at. You think I'm gonna just pull up to their job and just start trying to like shoot my shot? No, that's weird as hell. How else am I gonna run into them? And yes, I've asked them for their socials. And what do you think they did? They didn't give it to me. Of course they didn't give it to me. Why would they?
The fuck would you show me something if I couldn't have it then?
So I don't even see why don't even worry about it. I know, I'm confused too. Anyways, moving on. So noticing that this isn't the first time this has happened, I just got really bothered by the fact that it's not even that I was sold a dream, but I felt like there was something underlying. And at the time when he said it, I felt like he was trying to call me weird. Why do I think that? It's because if I asked you to go and shoot for me, only because you're more close in proximity to them, and then you're saying I have to do it on my own, to me, I thought you were trying to say that if I mess up the shot, or if I come off as a little too pushy or something, knowing that you work with them, they're gonna relay that to you and say, yeah, there's something wrong with your cousin. And it's gonna make your work relationship worse. That's how my brain was thinking. I was upset, not because of this damn girl, but because there has been a pattern of this happening. And it was this point where I had to go back and reflect on these events. I went and talked to Deuce about it. But then Deuce had a revelation. He believed that because I had eventually showed interest in his coworker, Frank went out of his way to shoot his own shot, to try to beat me to the punch, since he had one over me. Notice there's a trend in these stories. Notice how there's a trend in these stories. Someone always has something over me, right? And to make it worse, by the way, I've been known by my own cousins to be known as like a cold approach demon or something like that, because I have little to no fear of just walking up and shooting my shot. And that's always been made apparent to me by Frank and by our other cousins. And Frank, I love you, but Frank even knows he's afraid of rejection and he has no game. So I guess he tried and it must have failed, because I also never heard any more stories about this girl. I haven't heard any stories about this coworker. He's told me all about work but this coworker ever since then. And what really bothered me was just, I felt like I was being put in competition with my own family, and it's not by my own choice. It didn't really click at the time, but just seeing how the trend has been, it feels like it's always been competition. That one did really had me start side-eyeing the relationships between family and women, where even when we go out still, I try not to talk about girls around them. I really don't. I try to like stay away. I've noticed that I've been able to stay away from a lot of that. Going from Donnie and how he just switches up when his girlfriend's around. I stay away from friends who are in relationships too closely, depending on how well the relationship between me, him, and their girlfriend is, to family, where it's like if there's girls present, it's just like I don't even try to indulge as much if they're in the presence of us. And I even tell them I'm not in the mood to try to shoot anywhere, because that's just kind of like a fear of mine now. At least that's how I see it. Story 4. Now, the people in this story are not as close as me, Donnie, Deuce, or like family like Frank. These are my friends from Yu-Gi-Oh! I think we'll call him Travis. So the thing I love about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that we end up making friendships that can last a lifetime. We stay together, we stay connected. It becomes a therapeutic game for us. About 2 times out of the week, I'd see him at the Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments, and we'd always play, we strategize, we just have fun, check in with each other, and we just talk about life a lot of the time. And around this time, it had been like a year after the girl from story 2 with Deuce. I ended up being in a situation that is good for my development, but really shouldn't have been there, but it's good for your development. And I was dating a MILF, I'm not gonna lie. I was dating. Dating's not the word. But more on that in another video, but I digress. I've known Travis for over a year at this time, or almost a year at this time. And I was just getting back out there. I was dating more. When you're around a group of dudes and you're like playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, first thing they think of is this is your girlfriend, or this is a girl you're talking to, or this is a girl you messing with, but they literally just be friends. A lot of the time our conversation would shift from Yu-Gi-Oh! To girls. Travis would sometimes say, man, you're always talking to a girl, man. Like, you're always texting a girl, you're talking to a girl. And I'm like, well, not really. Some of them are my homegirls. Some of them slide up on my story. Some of them just know me. Like, it's not like a constant thing. The way he made it seemed like I was just drowning in it. Like, no, I wasn't. It just seemed like that. And I guess it seemed like that to him a lot of the time. So eventually I end up messing around with this MILF. We call her Crazy Cat. It would just pop up in conversation because we're in a group of 4+ people. So somebody would say something about their girl. I'd respond, and then we would just go back and forth. And a lot of the time, Travis' comment towards me would be, damn, you always seem to have a girl. You always seem to talk to another girl. And I'm just like, not really. It's sometimes just the same person. And we have a lot of different circumstances. I wanted Travis to get out there too. I didn't want Travis to be left behind. I encouraged him to shoot a shot. I encouraged him to go after the girls that he liked, but he's definitely afraid of talking to girls. Brother, how did you make it this far in life, bro? I would say I'd shoot for you if you want. I'm that type of person. And he was more comfortable with that. But aside from that, I didn't always talk to Travis on the phone. It wasn't like we had late night conversations and I was just talking about girls, or that was the topic of my conversation. It was just whenever we seen each other, if it came up, it came up. And it wasn't like I always started. It would be someone within our group. It was always directed towards me. And you always seem to have a girl, or you always seem to talk to girls, Bryton. I just kept encouraging him to just go out there and shoot whenever we had the opportunity to even change the subject to that. Whenever we had the time to talk about it, I just say, yo, just don't be afraid and go out there and shoot. And I don't know if you know who you are, Travis, but I think you will now. And so he had a family friend. He liked her for a very long time. And there was going to be like a wedding or an event where he was going to see her at. And he wanted some advice. Should I shoot my shot? Yes or no? And I was honest with him. You should absolutely. Because the worst thing you can do is not shoot and live with the idea that it could have worked out, but you'll never know. So go out there and shoot. And I'll never forget, after that event ended, he calls me, and this was like the first time he ever called me. And he tells me she only liked him as a family friend and she didn't want to ruin the friendship. And he was pretty down on himself, and he was very sad. And I told him, like, keep his head up, you know, been like that. I told him, like, I've been there before. When somebody you really like doesn't like you back, I know what you're going through, bro. Speaking from the experience, I told him a quote that I had to tell myself: if they don't want you, they're not for you. And if she sees you as only that, and there may be something wrong with her that you don't want to deal with. And that was my honest advice to him. I really want to see my boy prosper. He felt better about it and he went on. Now back to me. I'm still dealing with Crazy K, kind of, whatever. And eventually I got to the point where I'm like, I don't even need to be here. I don't want to be dealing with this. And I don't even deal with a lot. Y'all know me. I'm a very no nonsense person. I cut it off. And she went crazy. But thankfully I was home in the safety of my home. As far as I know, she don't know where the fuck I live. So I'm happy. I thought it was scary and it was funny. But it was more so scary. It's funny now, but it was more so scary, and I was coping with trying to laugh about it because I done already had to spend last year with my heart stomped on, now trying to recover from an aneurysm. So I'm trying to cope with this, and I always talk to like Donnie, or I talk to Deuce about it. I even talk to Frank about it. But there's this big tournament that's going on. So I end up showing up, I see Travis, and I'm ready to tell him, I'm about to tell him about this crazy news, man. I'm so ready to talk about it. Tap Travis on the shoulder. Let me tell you about this girl, Crazy K. And as soon as I get ready to start the story, he turns to me, and I'll never forget it. He looks me dead in my face. His eyes dilate. This man's hair starts to stand up like he's about to change it to a werewolf. I promise you, I never forgot this. He looks at me dead in my face. And he says, you just need to stop dating. When does it ever work for you? You just need to stop dating and leave it alone. It doesn't work for you, Bryton. And I'm as shocked as you guys are right now. That is the first thing he says to me. I haven't even begun the story. I haven't said anything to him. And that's the first thing he says to me. And before I can get a chance to really respond the way I want to, my homie Shay, shout out to you, Shay, pulls me to the side. And he's like, hey, yo, what we got going on over here? You got a problem with you? Because we could take it outside. Now I'm distracted from what just happened. Like everything is happening so fast. I'm not fully processing. I just got yelled at out of nowhere. I get pulled to the side, and then our homie Vic turns around because he just heard a whole lot of yelling, and he's like, yo, y'all good? And I say, yeah, I'm fine. But it wasn't just Shay, it wasn't just Vic that heard it. We're in a crowd of over 30 people, 30 of our peers, by the way, people that we see weekly. They're surrounding all of us because we're trading cards. They just heard Travis yelled directly in my face. While I never even noticed how many people were around because I had just got pulled to the side. And I think that's kind of like a blessing because it only took till after the tournament where I had time to process what just happened. In that moment of not just being yelled at and slighted by his reaction, I didn't even get the chance to feel embarrassed. And even though I didn't get the chance to feel embarrassed, 30 plus of my peers just saw me get talked down to about my dating life. And for me, as I was processing that, it started to really hit me. And even processing it now, it really bugged me because, like I said, my heart just got stumped a year ago and I was still feeling some type of way because now my brain is scarred from what I just had to endure with dealing with this Crazy K. Travis knew about he knew that was a thing because I shared that with him when he was down on his luck with the girl that he liked. And I never understood why he would do this because it's not like I would always just keep bringing up girls. I wasn't doing it. Like I said, we're in a group of 4+ people every time we play. But having to process that after he just embarrassed me in front of our friends was something that it stuck with me. And what made it worse, at this time around, Travis had just finally got him a girlfriend.
Cut the shit the fuck off!
Bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
He doesn't have to feel insecure about dating. The moment he doesn't have to be afraid to shoot his shot. It's just fuck Bryton. And I still see him too. And I fuck his ass up every time we play Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's also make that very clear. I put belt to ass when we play. So that's like my get back every time I get to play. So anytime you ever been upset with me or pissed off about how that match went, it was deliberate. But me being told it's never worked for you was something that was one of the craziest things I've ever had to endure in my life. That's something that people don't understand. When you really talk down on somebody, you may not have to live with that type of trauma, but the person you attacked does. Like, I have to live with that. He was definitely wrong for saying that without even knowing what the rest of my history is like. It's like, damn, bro, it really be your own man's. So I hope you guys found something to laugh at, or I hope you guys found this very interesting, but it's something that is therapeutic for me to talk about now. And I've had this, I was actually going to talk about this story with Travis years ago, but I never did because I still didn't want to bring that up and then have to, you know, hop back and forth with trying to keep, but now I'm at the age where it's just like, no, I think it's important to talk about. So for any future friends, if you end up getting punched in the face, just know this is the reason why. And I'd hate for you to catch the hands that somebody else deserves. But until next time, this is the man of the house, Bryton, signing out for the one time. Thank you guys so much. Peace.